adultery. Moses gave the law that the adulterer and the adulteress must be stoned to death. If it was Jesus, he would have done the same thing. If it was Muhammad, he would have done the same thing in the desert. Now, this, though it seems very harsh and cruel to us, this was the most merciful way of getting rid of an antisocial character, an adulterer. Because the system as given by God Almighty to these Jews was a system in which they could have had limited number of wives, unlimited number of wives. You know, Solomon had 1,000 wives and concubines, and God didn't say one word against that. Almost every prophet mentioned in the Old Testament had more than one wife. David, Jacob, he married 2 sisters at the same time. Abraham, he had altogether 3 wives. And so on. Almost every prophet you name, he had more than one wife. And God didn't say one word against that system. And a system which allowed unlimited number of wives. Why must you go and interfere with somebody else's property? Can you see the logic of it? I mean, if one was not enough, you take number 2. If 2 is not enough, take 4. If 4 is not enough, take 40. Why do you have to go and despoil somebody else's property? That person is an antisocial character, and the best thing to do with him is kill him and make him an object lesson for others. See? So it's a very cruel thing. Stoning a person to death. You can imagine. It's a slow, painful death. And this was to be done in public. Not hidden away somewhere behind the walls, say in Victoria, what they call it, death row. No, where nobody knows what's going on. No. Bring the guy to the marketplace. The whole community gathers. You see this adulterer and this adulteress. This is justice being meted out to them. So suppose we were there. You said, not for me. Would you like to go through that? So can you see now? I said, if Jesus or a Muhammad couldn't have done anything better in the wilderness. It was a beautiful law for a nomadic people. But laws have a tendency to change the characters of people over a period of time. Any law. Well, let's take our own law. We are living in a color-conscious country. Everything's based on color. And I can tell you my experience. For 40 years I've been talking to people. I love to talk. I love to talk. I love to share with people my thoughts and what little God has given me of my food. And let me tell you that I have invited hundreds of whites to my home. I invited Africans and colors and Indians, but I'm talking specifically about the whites. Hundreds of whites, businessmen, learned men, priests, theologians, hundreds of them. And they come and enjoy my hospitality, they enjoy my food. Our food is good. The food that we cook. I tell you, the white man, he laps it up, he relishes it. The Afrikaner, he flogs it. And the color of the African, nobody can resist the food that we offer. Am I right? You see, everybody loves our food. Maybe the way we put our spices and the way we cook, the aroma that comes from our pots, you just can't, irresistible. So the white man and the woman, they enjoy my food and they enjoy my talk. Because whatever I'm talking is from an angle which they might not have seen before. Because it's something novel to them. So they enjoy talk and they enjoy the food. And they thank me profusely when they part. And subsequently when I meet them in the streets, they shake hands with me. How is Mr. Deedat? How's the family? Convey my regards to the missus. But no white man, by God I tell you, no white man in 40 years has invited me to his home for a cup of tea. I'm asking my European people that I can talk to. Look, I'm not trying to score any points against anybody. But I'm asking, don't you people know how to reciprocate? In your culture, in your civilization, is there no such thing as reciprocation? There is. There is. You do reciprocate, I know. Among yourselves, you do. You invite one another to your homes. But at the back of your mind, to invite a black man to your home, something else is involved. You personally may be a saint walking this earth, an angel walking this earth, but at the back of the mind, the laws of the country, color, has knocked into your psyche. that thought that, look, this coolie coming to an elite area in Durban North, one Sunday morning, looking for your home, number 10 Downing Street, and, with this funny headgear and this beard, looking for that number 10, and eventually he finds it. There are people watering the garden, there are people sitting on the veranda. What is this coolie doing around here? And then, maybe, I find the house, I knock at the door, Mrs. Smith opens the door, and because she had enjoyed my hospitality, she's so happy. She says, come in, Mr. Dida, come in. She means well. I go inside and we start chatting again, and religion is a deep subject, you might carry on for hours, and tongues begin to wag. He says, what is that doing inside here? What are they doing? Running a shebeen or what? What is Mrs. Smith doing? What business is she in now? Or another relation of the family comes in, finds this black man there, brown man. So my host will have to go out of his way to explain my presence there. He said, this is Mr. Didat. When we went to his house, his family, they received us so well, and they gave us such nice food and whatnot. Oh, you're going out of your way, actually, to justify my presence there. You know it. You have to justify, what is this guy doing here in the house? So, to avoid all that, best thing is, convey my regards to the missus, This is what it is. Laws have a tendency to change the characters of people over a period of time. In Hitlerite Germany, a nation so civilized, so cultured, the nation of Goethe and Beethoven, one of the most cultured nations in Europe, they could stoop down to incinerating 6 million Jews with a fact of fiction. The fact is, even 6 Jews. 6 million Jews, and this cultured nation, Christian nation, allowed it. As a people, 90 million Germans were Christians, even if Hitler was an atheist. They allowed this massacre to take place. Why? Program, brainwashing. The Jews, Christ killers, kill them. They deserve it. So the whole nation, if inwardly you might have felt uneasy, but it says, well, they deserved it. They're getting it what's coming to them, but they've earned. 90 million Germans, they were quite happy with what happened. Laws have a tendency to change the characters of people over a period of time. 1,000 years and 300 between Moses and Jesus, the Jews, these very laws which were meant to mold the character and rule, create a happy community, those laws perverted the standards. They were told an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So, if I was chasing the birds with that old-fashioned sling, the one that David used to kill Goliath, I was only trying to chase the bird, and by accident injured a Jewish eye, another Jew injured his eye. So he goes to the judge and says, you see this guy here? He damaged my eye. Lord Iman, an eye for an eye. Damage his. So suppose I was that unfortunate Jew of the time, I would plead as a look, man, brother, I didn't mean to damage your eye. It was an accident. Forgive me. He says, no, but the law says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I said, look, I'm prepared to compensate you. I'll give you a kid from the flock. I'll give you a heifer. Forgive me. He says, no, the law says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You see, he is going for the letter of the law and he's forgetting the spirit. So Jesus Christ, another spiritual physician among the Jews, he comes on the scene and he sees this perversion, this sickness, that they have gone for the letter of the law and they have forgotten the spirit. So wanting to bring them back to that wire media, the balanced road, he gives them another extreme as an antidote. It has been said by them of old time, Jesus said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil. He who strikes you on the right cheek, give the other. If a person takes away your coat, give me a blow also. Agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art with him on the way. If a person makes you to walk 1 mile, walk with him 2. In other words, go to the other extreme. This is an antidote for a sickness, which is a beautiful antidote for a sickness. But we Muslims, what we say is this, that antidote will not work. because you haven't got the sickness. Your sickness has changed. And as your sickness changes, the remedy must change. And in that change, we Muslims claim that Muhammad brought that last and final revelation of God Almighty. He has given us the law, and we say it is the fulfillment of the laws as given by Moses and Jesus. And Jesus Christ, He Himself had foretold. In the Gospel of St. John, He says, I have yet many things to say unto you, to the Jews, many things. But ye cannot bear them now. In other words, you haven't got the capacity to grasp this knowledge. God has given it to Him. He could have guided mankind for eternity till doomsday. But the people who were the recipients of that message were not fit to receive it, as He said. But ye, you, cannot bear them now. And the truth of that statement is writ large in the Bible. You read it again and again in the New Testament, in the Gospels. Jesus telling His disciples, ye of little faith. Ye of little faith. How many times? Again and again. He explains to them, as He was explaining to little children, and they can't grasp the message. So He says, are ye even yet without understanding? And when He's provoked further, He says, oh faithless and perverse generation. This is Iscariot's disciples. How long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? I say, if Jesus was a Japanese instead of a Jew, he would have committed honorable harakiri. You know the way they gave him trouble endlessly, the apologies father. They gave him endless trouble. Everything he's telling them, they misunderstand. They misconstrue. Everything. So he says, I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when He, the Spirit of truth, is come, He will guide you into all truth. For He shall not speak from Himself, but what things shall He hear, that shall He speak, and He shall declare unto you the things that are to come. He shall glorify Me. Now we Muslims, we say that that Spirit of truth is Muhammad. He glorified Jesus to an extent that the Christian, when he listens to what the Quran says about Jesus, he falls on his back. He can't believe his ears. He thinks that the Muslim is hypocritical. Because when the Muslim says that we Muslims, we believe in Jesus, so we believe that Jesus was one of the mightiest messengers of God. We believe that He was the Messiah. We believe that He was born miraculously without any major intervention. We believe that He gave life to the dead by God's permission, and He healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. The white Christian feels that we are trying to scratch his back so he may scratch ours. You know, if I say a few good words about your Jesus, maybe you might say a few good words about my Muhammad. I said, look, maybe in the South African situation, you know, we might have a tendency to do that. We are human, we are weak. And we Muslims in South Africa, or Brother here will confirm, we are a minority of a minority. The Indian is a minority. And in that minority, we are 1/5. We are a minority of a minority. We are very weak. In numbers, in everything, we are very weak. So as such now, if we flatter the whites, the Christians, to get some crumbs somewhere along the line, we could be excused. But I said no. Here is a book, what we call the Quran. In it, this particular one here has an index, and if you open the index and open the subject Jesus, you'll be amazed.